It's getting ahead of themselves?
Morning, Axel. I think it's definitely the case that markets are getting slightly ahead of themselves, really. That size of the move yesterday exacerbated by low summer volumes. I think just a sign that investors are still very nervous about the tapering and how that's going to play out towards the end of the year. But I still there's plenty of discussion left, I think, on this particular element.
So this is not the start of another rout?
I would hesitate to say I think that it is. I think really just another caution may be coming through, perhaps markets getting a little ahead of themselves, at least in the moment. But really, investors a bit more sanguine, perhaps for the moment, thinking that the taper is now delayed into the latter half of the year rather than September.
Are you more surprised by the fallback in the equity markets? Clearly, the sell-off in treasuries and the exodus we're seeing from Japan and China is understandable, but the equity market sell-off seems to me to be a little bit more surprising here.
I think that's exactly the case, and if you look at the data, which is getting better, and there's reasons to be optimistic about equity markets in the broader term, and yes, the global economy is improving, and even if the Fed does taper in September, for example, they're unlikely to move in a significant fashion, so they'll still purchase, say, around even 75 billion a month. There's still a very large amount to be going on with in QE, so the caution perhaps is overdone, I think.
When do you expect volumes to come back?
Well, I fear it's going to be another couple of weeks of this we're condemned to, really, with people still on holiday. So not till September, the beginning of, and people even then waiting until perhaps the Fed meeting later in that month to see how things really pan out.
Eurozone inflation today, in the context, of course, of better data. What are your expectations, and have we perhaps once again overblown the positive news out of the Eurozone?
I think we're expecting a slight revision upwards for the final reading on Eurozone CPI, showing a bit more modest price growth, which is perhaps hopeful signs of activity really in the Eurozone. But though we did have better data earlier in the week, that GDP data, one quarter does not make a summer really. We can't be too breezy confident about the Eurozone at the moment. There are still major problems, unemployment, especially in Southern Europe, and the sort of moving back on austerity measures are signs I think we should be worried really.
What's Draghi's next move going to be, and how quickly is something going to come? Or is it just going to be rhetoric?
We've been waiting for that for over a year. We're still having the rhetoric, and well, that's worked quite well. It was still no signs of actual real sign of a programme. And the ECB says it has to wait until someone asks, and the governments won't do that until they know the exact details. So this back and forth, it's just going to go on for months and months yet, I think.